Welcome to Haugen Racing, guys. Behind me, I have my brand new sim rig. If you guys haven't watched that video, go check it out. We just posted it last week. That was kind of a different build video. We did it like ASMR style. I didn't really explain why I chose certain components and kind of how things went together. So today's plan is I'm gonna go over all the components, all the steering, pedals, handbrake, like the chassis, why I chose that, the 80/20 rig, the monitors, the VR, everything, and explain why I chose certain things, because I did a crap load of research. I spent like weeks researching and ordering parts and figuring this stuff out. So I really put a lot of thought and time into this. So I wanted to explain to you guys kind of why I chose certain things. Let's get started with the rig, and then we'll just kind of work our way through the whole list. Oh, I forgot one thing though. Let's pop that puppy on for you guys. There we go. Now we're in business. Okay, so the rig itself, I gotta read these off so I get the name right, but it's a Trak Racer TR8020 TR160 cockpit. So I got the one that's for the Fanatec DD2 direct drive. So the cool thing is with this is you can choose what steering wheel setup you're running. They have some specifically made for more popular steering wheels and some of the newer ones, but you can get ones with like a top plate that accept any kind of steering wheel besides like direct drive, because the direct drive is much more stronger. If you guys don't know, there's basically like multiple drives for steering wheels, for sim steering wheels. I'm not an expert on them, but I did do a lot of research. There's like belt driven, gear driven, and then direct drive where the motor is directly tied to the steering wheel. That has, at least thus far, been proven to be the most realistic and strongest force. They're more expensive, but they also put a lot more force on the rig. So that's why I went with something that was directly bolted. It uses like the factory bolt holes on the Fanatec DD2 and then ties it into the chassis really well. I did not get their seat, obviously. I got a Bride Zero RS seat. So this is Bride's new kind of halo seat. I wanted to get something very similar to what I use in the Pro car. So I use just a slightly different model. I use the Pro Max, but they're very similar. And I wanted that same feeling. As well as on the DD2, I got a Vertex steering wheel. If you guys are new to the channel or haven't watched a lot of our videos yet, I use Vertex in like all the cars. I love their steering wheels. Not sponsored by them, wish I was, but just a loyal fan. Steering wheel is in a very similar spot to where I would have it in real life. But anyways, back to the rig. The cool thing about this rig is it's like incredibly thick. I mean, look at that. A lot of 80/20 rigs that you'll see will maybe use like this size bar as like the main rig part, but this one goes like, you can kind of see the rows. It's like 4 rows deep. And the great thing about that is it's just that much more solid. It also makes it really, really heavy, but I don't plan on moving this. You can get caster wheels if you want to, but it just has these nice little kind of foot pads. The other cool thing is they tie it really well in the back, and there's another huge cross support right here. And then the seat has its own support system kind of on top of that. The other thing is they have a really unique pedal mounting system that's like fully adjustable. If you guys are wondering, I'm in no way sponsored by Trak Racer. I bought all these components with my own money. I just chose the best rig that I thought was available. And truly, between the adjustments and how well it integrates with like popular parts out there, that's kind of why I chose this one. The pedal adjustment is really cool. So you can raise it, oh, that wire's in the way. You can raise it up, down, back and forth. You can even like rotate it like that, so you can get it exactly where you want. And it's like so freaking solid. I mean, like I can't even shake it. That was kind of the reasons I went with the Trak Racer rig, honestly. And then they also have really good support for it. And they seem like a fairly larger company. You can actually get in contact with them, and they're always producing new parts. And they have a lot of add-ons. So one of the biggest add-ons that I thought was great was their triple monitor mount that connects directly to the rig. So it's like an insanely solid piece. This is the same bars that some people use to build their entire rig, and this is just for the monitor mount. It mounts like directly to these uprights, and the steering wheel is tied in between there, so you just get like everything so solid. The other cool thing is They make a great computer mount, so you can mount the computer around the back. And it's so solid, like even when you're jamming on it, the computer's not even moving at all. If I were to go motion, then I would probably mount the computer in a different spot, you know? That's pretty much the reasons why I chose the rig. Let's move on to like steering and pedals and some of that stuff. So for steering, I got the Fanatec Podium wheelbase, the DD2. This is Fanatec's the best direct drive that they make. It's probably overkill. No, it is overkill. Even the DD1 is potentially overkill, but I wanted to be able to like get the most realistic experience I could and have it not even working and barely even trying to give that experience. Also, if I want to do any vintage racing or anything like that and drive a car with no power steering, or even practice, you know, having broken power steering, those would be great drills to practice. I could turn up the torque on it, you know, I think it goes to like, Aaron, throw it in what it goes to, but it's like 30 or 40 foot-pounds or something just ridiculous. So it'll really work out your arms. One more thing on the steering system. I got the Podium Hub as well as the ClubSport Universal Xbox Hub. I don't know if it's the only way to integrate it with Xbox, but it makes it so you have all like the factory buttons like you would on an Xbox controller. So it makes it really easy. I can plug this thing into the Xbox and play Forza, CarX, all those. I know they have CarX for computer as well, but I want to be able to jam out on those and kind of try it on console. For pedals, I got the ClubSport V3 inverted, so they're more like what you would find in a race car. So the only one that is different is the throttle. I don't have that inverted, but this pedal set is just like so adjustable. And it also has like dampers and springs that you can change out and make it to feel exactly like a real car. So I also got their V3 damper kit and added that to the throttle and the brake. So that's what those kind of red things are. So you can like really get it dialed in. You can dial in the stroke, the pressure, you can even have the pressure ramp up, and you can get it feeling exactly like the car that you would drive in off track. If this is all the driving you do, you can get it dialed into how a real car would feel, and you're that much prepared for if you ever do want to drift a real car. For the shifter, I got the ClubSport version 1.5 shifter from Fanatec. I'm doing a lot of research. This shifter has like really great reviews, and I've tried it a little bit and I'm really happy with it. I keep it in H pattern. I don't run sequential in any of my cars. Sequential is cool, but when you build a drift car, you're probably not gonna have sequential until you're like going pro. So I wanted to keep it the same, and it really feels like it. It has really, really good like engagement, and it's solid when it's in gear, all that stuff. Handbrake, I got the ClubSport version 1.5. So the 1.5, they did a lot of revisions. I know the one, they had some problems. People were saying they were breaking and things like that. The 1.5, I believe they fixed a lot of that stuff. So far, I've had no issues with it, and I love how it feels. The thing is, with the shifters and handbrakes, I want everything to integrate with the steering wheel really well and have like no setup issues and be able to use it on Xbox. So that's why I didn't go with some of the fancier handbrakes that, you know, have a hydraulic piston in them and feel just like a real handbrake. This one honestly feels really good to me. I may go that route down the road with the handbrake. The shifter, I honestly think is as good as you can get. Handbrake, I might upgrade down the road and just kind of have two different setups for PC and Xbox. But again, I want everything to work just perfectly with Xbox and be easy to set up. All right, so I've explained to you guys why I chose the rig, all like the driving peripherals. Now let's talk about vision and sound, and then last we're gonna finish up with the PC build and why I chose the Alienware. Some of you guys were trying to talk some shit last video, but I'm gonna explain why towards the end. But first, let's talk monitors. For the monitors, I got the LG 27-inch Ultra Gear 4K, Ultra HD, Nano, IPS, 1 millisecond response time, 144 hertz, and with G-Sync. These are like really, really wild monitors. I wanted to be able to run triple 4K because my computer will definitely handle it. Right now, this was one of the best options that was still a reasonable price point. When I was researching monitors, I think, you know, towards the end of this year and next year, there are gonna be better, faster 4K monitors available for a similar price. But right now, this was truly the best option. I think they were right around $950 a piece, whereas like Acer Predator just came out with a 4K, super low response time, thin bezel monitor, but they're like $2,500 a piece. From what I could tell, they really don't provide all that much advantage over these ones. So what's cool is I can run triple 4K. It's a 1 millisecond response time. I can run up to 144 frames per second. That was kind of the best option I thought for monitors. But you're probably wondering, you're drifting, right? You're gonna get, I mean, the monitors aren't even gonna work all that well. Well, we also got VR. So I got the Valve Index VR. So what's awesome about the Valve Index is it has like really immersive sound. It will do 144 frames per second. And when researching for drifting, a lot of people were using the Valve Index and had really, really good results with it. Also, kind of, you could think of it as a drawback or a plus. It requires base stations, but the head tracking is like insane on the Valve Index when you have the base station set up correctly. I saw online some people said you could just use one base station. I was having problems with the screen going gray randomly. We put the second base station in, it's worked perfectly now, and the head tracking is like unbelievable. I don't get sick from it. We have it turned up to 144 frames, and it's honestly beautiful, and the sound is really, really good and immersive. So Valve Index, as of right now, is definitely the best option for sim drifting. Basically, last on the list is the computer. So this is Alienware's brand new Aurora R11. It is an absolute freaking monster. Before I get into the specs, I've always been an Alienware fan. I was just like nerded out over the brand and thought it was super sick. I noticed when researching, some people were saying the R10 and other ones really weren't as good maybe as you could build, but the R11 is honestly like unbelievable. And when I got it built, you can do like completely custom builds with Alienware. When I got it built, one of the things that really attracted me to doing it through Alienware and not myself is I get support and warranty. So they'll replace components, they'll help me figure out why things aren't working. If I built the computer myself, I am on my own. So onto the graphics card. So I got the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3090, NVIDIA over AMD all day long. I did a bunch of research on these two. This is NVIDIA's brand new graphics card. You couldn't even get them like 2 months ago when I built the computer. You could only get them through an Alienware build, which was crazy. Now they're a little bit more readily available, but again, they're like $3,000 because people are reselling them. So the graphics card alone is almost as much as the whole build of the computer. So I really don't think you could build that computer, at least right now, for really much cheaper. That card's good for like 8K gaming. It's super set up for the future. I've already ran triple 4K at 144 milliseconds, and I didn't even overclock the graphics card, which it is overclock capable, but it wasn't even trying at that. It had no problem handling that. Running a screen and running the Valve Index, like full specs graphics on Ultra within Content Manager on Assetto Corsa, and all the shaders, everything on this thing has no trouble running like anything. So I'm super happy I got that. As far as everything else goes, it has 10th gen Intel Core i9, 3.7 gigahertz to 5.3 gigahertz with thermal velocity boost. So you can turn that thing up to the moon. I also got a 64 gig dual channel HyperX Fury DDR4 at 3400 megahertz. So when I was looking up other sim drifters, that RAM is outrageous. There is a 128 gig option, but when I started researching it, it's like unless I was editing a video using Photoshop and sim drifting, like even then I probably wouldn't hit it. That's like 128 gig is for like database operations. So 64 gig is gonna do probably sim drifting, you know, even 10 years from now. That should probably still be solid. For memory, I got 2 terabytes solid state. I've always been a big fan of solid state, and it's just, I don't know, do your research on solid state. It's better than a regular hard drive for the most part, and it's faster, and especially within there when you're accessing it all the time running video games, solid state's the way to go. And 2 terabytes should be more than enough, because that computer is dedicated to just a sim. I'm not doing any editing or anything else on there. The cool thing is this thing also has liquid cooling for the computer and the graphics card, and a 1000-watt power supply. So this thing is like so overbuilt, it's out of control, but I wanted it to be like future-proof, so I can upgrade games, run like ultra graphics, be able to stream through it, and just do like literally everything and not have it like overworking. So guys, that's pretty much the sim build. Obviously I know I want to get to driving it and you guys want to see that, so tomorrow we're going to post my first time drifting on this thing. If you guys have any questions as to why I chose anything, or you think I went somewhere wrong with it, comment below, let me know. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions, but I'm super happy with it. It's super upgradable and future-proof, and I'm just ready to go freaking shred with this thing. So hope you guys will hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in a couple days. Peace.